Hey, friends. This is Still Comfy with Jules and Nat. I'm your host, Julia Washington. I host Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous, where we analyze pop culture through the lens of race or gender and sometimes both. As always, I am joined by Natalie Katona. Hit it, Natalie.
It's me. I'm Natalie Katona. I'm the host and producer of To All the Men I've Tolerated Before, your weekly look at everyday misogyny.
And
I
we
feel
are
like I become like a sleight of hand magician every time we do this.
I mean, maybe you're not fully Croatian. Maybe there's some Italian blood in there.
That tracks.
That tracks. We are joined today with Paige from For Folk's Sake. She's a fellow podcaster, and we are very excited because she's our very first guest ever here on Still Comfy. As our loyal listeners know, it's just Natalie and I talking about something that digresses into FaceTime.
Yeah.
And we're very excited to have Paige here. She is not only a dedicated watcher of our live shows is what I was trying to say. And our love, yeah. Dedicated, loyal. We love her. She also hosts her own podcast. So I'm gonna let Paige give you the rundown on who she is and her show.
Hello, everyone, Natalie, Julia's listeners and friends. My name is Paige. I'm the host of the For Folk's Sake podcast. And our premise is that you never say no to a conversation because you will always learn something from it. So we're all about education through conversation, figuring out what we can learn. And I literally talk to everyone about everything, even the uncomfortable topics. So it's fun.
I love that. And we're super glad you're here. And I recently did a recording with Paige. I feel like Natalie and Paige are also going to be doing a recording at some point. So we're just at this point episode swapping, because that's what you do when you're friends and you also podcast.
True.
Right.
Natalie, were you going to say something? You looked like you were going to say something.
Well, first off, Paige, welcome to the only way that I spend time with my friends. So this is it. If you would like to book time on the Calendly to get me to work, but look at you and be like, remember how we were friends? This is how you do it. Everything's for content.
You got to give me that link. I should drop that link into the chat so people can book your time. What's $50 an hour?
My time. Yeah. That's right.
What's your hourly rate?
Yeah.
50. Yeah. Jules hit it. And I was going to remind our live listeners that if you are live, because we use the third-party StreamYard system, they have to drop us a comment to tell us hello, or else we won't know that they're there.
Also true. Yes. Thank you for that reminder, my fellow co-host, because I mean, there needs to be two of us for a reason. If you are here and you are enjoying our show so far, drop us a comment so we know that you're here, so we can bring you into the conversation, because we love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Okay. Today on Still Comfy, we are looking at Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. Mm-hmm. Here I go again.
That's what it is.
My. Hi, Alexis.
Yes, welcome, Alexis. We're excited you're here. Mamma Mia, as you all know, was released July 18th, 2008. So it's been a hot minute. It is the film adaptation of the jukebox musical. I didn't come up with that. Of the same name that first premiered in London in April of 1999. So it took a long time for it to become a screen adaptation. So, and over at Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous, we always kick off with the question of, what is it about this movie that you loved and why? So why don't we just dive from there, and then we'll just turn this into a FaceTime call.
Perfect.
Paige, you can go first because this was your pick.
True, it is my pick. I think mostly, though, I would like to say I think I like it mostly because there's a nostalgia factor attached to it, where me and my cousins, we would be in the living room jumping off the couches, the scene where she's jumping on the bed, we would do that too. So there's a lot of nostalgia attached to it. But rewatching it, I feel like I had a very deep appreciation for even though it felt, I'm a theater kid, so even though it felt like a production, like a theater production, it still flowed very well. And it also had a lot of themes that when I was rewatching it, I was like, oh, I wonder, like, for example, is anyone going to shame her for the mother, for her like sexual promiscuity at the time? So I was like, I don't really remember if anyone like really did shame her or if it was like her self shame. And so it was fun to revisit it with good lenses. And plus, like, who doesn't love ABBA? Like, honestly, every time I'm sad, I just listen to Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. So,
oh my gosh.
The soundtrack's, like, honestly better than the movie. I do love the movie, but I could listen to the soundtrack every day of my life.
Love that.
Mamma Mia was the first professional Broadway tour that my mother took me to.
So you saw it on stage?
I saw it on stage.
Oh, I love that. How old were you?
So Wicked is technically, I think, the first musical I saw professionally done in Chicago in one of their Broadway theaters, but I went with a friend and her mom. So it was right around that like 15 to 17 age mark, or maybe Mamma Mia was first and I was younger. Who's to say? Time is a construct.
And you were wildly unsupervised. So.
Wildly unsupervised. I never knew how old I was. I still don't. And I do remember that at the very end, when it's the wedding reception, you are invited to dance for the last number. And that is when my mother chose for us to leave. And I'm like, they just told us we could dance.
You sat through all of that ABBA music, having to control yourself in the seat of the theater.
My mother did not let me
theatrical blue balls.
Wow.
Right.
Yes, theatrical.
My mother did not let me bump nor grind, and I'm upset. Jive, hustle, any of it. This go around when I was watching Mamma Mia, I love this movie. It really impassioned me to become a sea hag on the Mediterranean. I will be a sea hag this year for Halloween. Probably a sexy one. I can't help it. And
crop tops.
Once I make my money, you won't be able to find me because I will be living on a cliff via Meryl Streep on the Mediterranean Sea, looking at that blue every day.
Covered in linen.
Covered in linen.
Is this your way of telling me that that's how we're breaking up as creative partners?
Yeah, but we'll be old. I'll be a hag. I'll have finally evolved into my final form.
Hollywood's definition of a hag is 40, so we ain't got much time, or at least I don't.
Okay, so my great aunts never aged, so I'm like holding on to that.
Okay.
My mother also not aging, probably aging backwards.
Yeah.
Like Benjamin Button. This go around, besides the Mediterranean Sea, I also tried to focus on how many inconsistencies Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again created for the original musical.
Did you watch the second one recently, or did you just only watch the first one for our chat?
I meant to watch both, and then Gen Con exhausted me.
I just slept through the second one, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I put it on. I put it on because it's like, oh, I'm going to watch a sequel. I love sequels. Sequels are so much fun.
Is so good at it. She's so good as young Donna.
Who is?
Lily James. Isn't that who plays her?
Is it?
I think so. Let me look.
Maybe I haven't seen the sequel.
And then Cher is in it.
Oh, I haven't seen the sequel.
You haven't seen it? Stop. You're talking about Newsies or something.
Yes, it is Lily James. You're correct, Natalie.
Thank you.
I love Lily James.
We all love Lily James.
Remember when it was rumored that she was dating Chris Evans? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that because
it was during the panty. Man. It was during the first part of the panty.
You know,
right before.
We all ended up in bed with someone during the panty, so
not me.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Just me. Okay.
Just me. That's fine.
I mean, you have to remember, I was like working myself to death. I shaved like 10 years off of my life because of the job I was doing. This is why I no longer do that job. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about like what we're going to do all the easy stuff first. Okay. Do you have a favorite scene in this film? Because Roger Ebert was like, hey, I'm not the audience. I appreciate that he acknowledged that he wasn't the audience for this movie because it took him his whole career to finally fucking figure that shit out. Right. But secondly, he did say that it is a lot of fun, and the movie version actually lends itself for more creativity and excitement than the stage can, because stage, as we know, can be a little restrictive.
I love how these big Broadway theatrical movies make sure to incorporate those big chorus numbers with the choreography and everything. So anytime we were doing that, gold. I got chills when she started to do Honey Honey. I was like, I didn't even know that this was my favorite song.
Yeah.
But I sit through Mamma Mia and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. So at the end, I am rewarded with Colin Firth in a glittery jumpsuit, giving it his all.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the best part.
Nothing left out of context.
No.
Like the
he's
choreography number in Voulez-Vous, when it's
Yes.
like, they're all like, I'm your dad. And she's like, ah! That's the best. I loved that. It was awesome.
And like, honestly, like Donna was hard up for some cash. She should have turned that hotel into a nightclub. I was like, why didn't you think of that after the wedding reception?
Yeah. Also, I was kind
seriously.
of like, who was trying to give her a check? Colin Firth was trying to give her a check.
Mhm.
I don't want, girl, I would have taken that check so fast. I'm like, thank you. There's not enough zeros. Can you add a
Double check
zero,
that
please?
my name is spelled right.
Yeah. Yes. Where
Put
can I
that
cash
away.
this? Can I get a same day advance?
Colin Firth could send me a check today. I wouldn't question it.
Amen. Samesies.
Maybe he knocked me up. Maybe he didn't. I don't know.
I would take a check from anybody at this
Right.
point.
Who
You don't
wants
even
to
have
give
be
me a
Colin
check?
Firth. Yeah.
If you go over to the Men I've Tolerated Pod Instagram, there is a link to Venmo. You don't even have to write anything down anymore, people. It's this easy.
Modern technology is beautiful. We are all accepting checks at the moment.
With
I would say
open hands.
one of my favorite scenes is when the mom and her friends are singing Super Trooper.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like so slow. I remember tearing up as a teenage girl, and I teared up last night too. Listen,
And then
watching
they-
I
it.
love that.
Not
I was
that
like,
anyone
I love my mom.
not that anyone watched the sequel but me, but then they revisit that in the sequel with
Natalie, if
Amanda
you had-
Seyfried.
If you had warned a girl or gal
That I had the whole sequel memorized. I don't know.
that you were also gonna watch the sequel,
I didn't watch it though. I just have it memorized. I saw
that
it
you
in
had it
theaters
memorized,
with my mother.
we would have maybe found the time to prepare that too.
I
Keyword
thought that
maybe.
Yeah,
I
keyword
thought that
maybe. Some of us are
I
busy.
was among other share enthusiasts, and once again, I find myself alone.
Sorry.
Excuse me, didn't I tell you I've been listening to, which Sonny and Cher album is it? Like on repeat. I'm pretty sure my neighbors are like, you need to be done. You just need to be done.
You need to be done.
That must
And
be
I'm
the
like, why? This
comfort
is the
album.
best. It's the best album ever. Oh,
That's so
Oh,
funny.
just
we don't
turn
have
it
the money
on.
to
That's
pay for
fine.
it. I had to stop it real quick. I
That's
went to try
fine.
to click on the album and it won't
YouTube
let
will
me.
shut us down.
Yeah.
Fast. YouTube can sense what you're gonna play, and they shut you down before you even press play. On
I
your
know.
phone.
I hope we don't get I hope we don't get taken down because I played 2 seconds of that song on accident. I was just trying to look at the album.
I want everyone who is watching right now to put in the comments their favorite ABBA song, and maybe
Yeah.
I'll do a bad rendition of it.
The Sunny.
Please.
It's just. What is it?
Is it just
really
called
wanna
Sonny and
see it.
Cher?
Yeah, it's just called Sonny and Cher.
It's a self-titled album.
Yeah,
Sonny
it's
and
a
Cher.
Yeah.
And then they just put Roman numerals after it when they
Yeah.
release new ones.
Literally,
That-
I've been on repeat because I was
Riveting.
like, I need the 70s just for a moment.
All that Googling for it to be called Sonny and Cher.
I know.
Hi, Mario. What's your favorite ABBA song?
Mario, it's about time you showed up, sir. We've been waiting patiently.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Wow.
We're all half past our freckles, waiting for
half
you,
past.
Mario.
I would like the record to show that once again, I was happy to see him.
I love seeing Mario. Don't be mean.
Oh no.
We were actually literally talking before we went live about how, anyway, it's not important. Here's the next question I have.
Okay.
Actually, Paige, you said you had something that was like very.
Oh yes.
Is it time to get into it?
I mean, if you want.
Yeah.
Always.
I am obsessed with the fact that the one friend is like falling in love with a younger man and no one says anything. Yeah, they're like, yes, girl. It's Pepper and what's her name? Pepper's the boy's name. I looked this up. Tanya and Pepper.
Yeah.
They're on the beach together, and they're like the night before they were like, you know, he's like, let's finish what we started, and she's like, oh no.
Does your mother know where you are? That's
Yep,
not how it
on the
goes.
beach scene, and I was like,
I mean,
loved it.
honestly, in his defense, Christine Baranski is gorgeous.
I love Christine Baranski.
Like,
Anytime.
Gorgeous.
I'm not even surprised that there would be anybody who like wouldn't want to try and hit that. And she's so talented. She's
So
in
talented.
like she's so I was watching it and I was like, God, Christine Baranski is completely underrated. Like she's not at the same level of fame as Meryl Streep, but like I've seen her in such a wide variety of titles that I'm just like, girl's never the same person twice. She's so good.
She's so
good. And she definitely plays that part so perfectly of like, I feel like when you see her, you can picture your like favorite high maintenance auntie.
Yes.
Who, like, definitely has like, is definitely a cougar.
Yes.
Definitely like spending a bunch of money because she never
paying for my weddings after my third.
Literally.
That was so funny.
I blame
gosh.
I blame character actors like Christine Baranski for why I'm so unhinged, because I'm like, I cannot wait until I am my sister's children's aunt who just goes to Europe and then comes home for Christmas and just showers them with little trinkets that are connected to like all of my lovers, and I kind of tell them but I don't, and then they have to like go to bed that night and be like, so like Aunt Natalie fucks, right? Like she fucks her way through continents, and like they have to like lay in there and wonder.
And they'll like search for your journal that will give them all the answers one day.
Bold. And you know, I write, you know that I write everything down. You know that I'm like, oh my gosh, I like, yes. And how bold is it to find your mother's diary and be like, I will write to these 3 strangers and pretend that this is a paternity test.
Yeah, that was another thing I want to talk about, was the audacity. The premise of the movie. Like if I did that, my mom would whoop me.
Right. Is it because she's 20? Is that why?
Yeah, very young.
Because this 20-year-old is like, I'm getting married, which what? Like, thank you, Donna, for being very concerned about your daughter wanting to get married at 20. I would be worried too.
I'm still worried.
I got married at 20.
Well, you did.
I was like, I know I'm going to say something.
I can definitely respect as like an older, like upper 20 now to be like, whoa. Like, thank God that worked out, because what are the odds of it working out? I mean, it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
But that is probably like a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting married at 20 and it like working out.
You broke the ratio.
You're the outlier.
Set the curve.
Yeah.
That's what it is, man. You know?
One time Midwestern health class traumatized me about STIs, and it was like 7th grade, and I remember being in the car with my mother, and like, you know how they always talk to you about STIs like through the transient property, like if your mother ever screwed a guy that had like an STI, you could have that STI and you just don't know. Is that just a Midwestern thing?
Or is it just like an elder millennial? Maybe it's an elder millennial thing, because I also remember that too. Like the whole, because on top of that, it was like everyone you've ever had sex with, you've had sex with every disease. And I remember too, like when I was pregnant with my son, they would be like, well, we're gonna test you for all these diseases, because if you this is so gross. I'll say it this way: if you have a natural birth, there could be things that pass through, and you're just like, what?
So they would like draw it like a football thing where they would be like, okay, you've only had sex with this person. Unfortunately, they've had sex with all of these people. So you two have had sex with all of these people. It was like
I
math.
understand that premise. Yes.
Yeah.
No, but I understand the premise, but I don't think anyone ever sat me down as a child and was like, I remember when the boys got to go to the locker room and the girls stay in the classroom, they're like, this is what your period is.
Yeah.
Like, this is
which
what
isn't even an accurate conversation.
I'd already gotten my period by then. I was like, lame.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So my mom picks me up from middle school, and I'm just like sitting quietly because I'm virginal, I'm traumatized, like, I probably have, like, undiagnosed ADHD or something, so I don't know not to ask my mom this, and I'm like, "Mom, did you have sex with someone who wasn't dad? Because, like, if you did, I could have herpes," and she almost, like, crashed the car.
Oh,
So, like
rightfully so.
to rifle through my mother's diary and be like, "Hey, could any of these dudes be my dad?"
Right.
The
Well,
rage.
another thing is like, why is it that hard to figure out who the father is? And they never really say who the dad is, but here's the thing is when they have like all the like flashbacks, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
we were in France. Oh, we were so flower power together. Oh, we were rocking out. It's like this seems like this couldn't have happened in a 4-week span.
But it
Right.
did,
Perhaps it did,
and
but
it
it
Well, and
didn't
did
it's
seem
so
all
very
in Mamma
easy.
likely.
Mia, here we go again.
Okay, because it is really easy to hop around Europe. Like it's not like the States where it takes, 40, like getting like when I talk to people about how long California is, or like some my friends back east will be like, "Oh, I'm not making that drive. It's 4 hours." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like that's literally that's not even half my state to get through." But to your point, Paige, like at the end when they're all like, "I'll be a third of your dad. I'll be a third of your dad
Yeah.
too." I was like, "What the
Honestly,
actual fuck?"
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. It is the most unrealistic part of this movie that not at one point were any of those men's feelings hurt. Like Pierce Brosnan tried, and then Colin Firth was like, "What if we just all walk her down the aisle and through life?" And then Pierce Brosnan, and then like the Skarsgård was just down for anything. So he's
Yeah,
like,
he was
"That's
he
cool
Yeah.
with
was
me."
chill. He was the
It's
most
And
chill of them
nostalgia.
all.
and then Pierce
I mean,
Brosnan
she
was
was named
like
after his aunt
outnumbered.
anyway, right?
Right.
Like,
That's why I think that that's her dad. I think Bill's her dad. That's another thing. I think we should all guess. Well, Mario said that the prequel explains who the dad is, but I think it's Bill because she worked for him. The aunt left her money and she named it after her. But I think she wanted it to be Sam. So that's why she was like, oh, it was Sam. And he went home and he got married, blah, 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 which, like, also questionable. But
yeah. Yeah, and when he said he has 3 grown kids, I was like, how could you have grown kids if you got married after you knocked up potentially
Right.
our gal Donna?
Can we
right.
talk can we talk about the audacity of men, by the way? Like, for one thing, they all 3 of them come in on a boat, the same boat, and then they're just, like, hanging out in her attic, and Donna falls in through the roof. Not one of them asks if she's okay. They just immediately, like, try to feel her up some more, and I'm
And she
like
like left her legs up for
right,
that length of time. You're like, girl.
and then, like,
Hold him down.
honestly,
Mhm.
like, I have been tricked by exes like that where you immediately want to giggle at them again, but then I'm like, "Never mind, Bill, I'm gonna, like, kick you in the balls." And, but at no point do they ever, like, at any point, like, question the emotional ramifications they might be having on Donna. They're just like, "Why doesn't Donna wanna see us? We don't understand. We thought we were her surprise, blah, 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 blah." I was like, "Think real hard about why she
Yeah.
might not wanna see you.
It's
I
so
need you."
obvious.
Right, I need you all to take a beat. I
I
need
need
you
you all
all
to
to take a beat as to why it might be hard for Donna to look at you. I need us all to recall, "Mamma Mia, here we go again." Like, and figure it out, gentlemen. Um,
Wait. So, because there's a lot, because it's on an island. So there's this scene where they're catching the boat to get to the island. Like, how does that play out on stage?
how does that play out on stage? They
Yeah.
literally just arrive. They just
Oh,
arrive. I'm sure there's, like, a dock, and then
sure,
Bill's like, "I'll take ya," and
sure.
then, like, whoosh, Broadway magic, and then they arrive.
And they move the waves across the
Right.
stage while they're, like, crouched underneath it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I'm so dumb about how this could be a stage production. Maybe because I
It was a
love all of
stage
the ocean
production
stuff.
first.
I know it was a
I
stage
mean,
production first. And when you
I
think about it, 1999, so it's 1979, right?
yeah.
And that was definitely a year
Also
I
t
didn't existence.
Different.
also, those 3 men were all intelligent and accomplished men, and they couldn't put it together why a 20-year-old would wanna call you after 20 years had gone
Mhm,
by that
mhm.
you hooked up with her mom.
Well, and also, can we talk about the fact that if I got an invite from someone like an ex or something, I'd
I'm
be
not
like,
going.
"Oh, okay, whatever." And then you figure out
Oh,
that he also invited 2 other women.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm not
that-
going.
Oh, I
the
dare
reaction would
ya.
be completely different from men to women.
I
Like,
wouldn't
I'd be
even
like, I'm
go
either
if
gonna
I got a
leave or I'm gonna become their best friends and spite you.
yeah,
Right.
like if I got an invitation from an ex to go to their wedding,
To their child's wedding.
to their
Yeah,
child's wedding,
that
to their
too.
child's wedding, I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, I dare
Maybe
ya.
I'll send a gift. Where are you registered?
Oh,
I'm
I
not
wouldn't send
sending
a
a
gift.
gift.
I don't know him.
I'm going for my free like cold chicken, and I'm going to dance, and I'm going to pay the DJ to play Sexy Back when I walk in. So it's fine.
If they have it at my sister's wedding, the DJ, we made all these requests. Of course, this is Minnesota, so I guess asking for them to play In Vogue was a ridiculous question because that DJ did not have In Vogue in their catalog. And how do you not have In Vogue in your catalog?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
It's free
sad.
in mine, bitches.
I don't think I have to worry about that for Sexy Back. That is the swan
Yeah,
song of the white people. And
that's
it's the
also
only time we
true.
get to feel sexy.
Yeah.
And
So-
Mr. Brightside by the Killers, I feel
And
like, is
Mr.
also a
Brightside.
white person song.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. 100%.
Anything by the Killers, honestly.
Tell us your favorite white girl song in the comments. Mine is Shut Up and Dance with Me. And I would build an entire rom-com around that song.
You should. How
Should.
see? So I get confused about what would be considered like a white person song because
There's nothing more white and basic than Shut Up and Dance with Me.
Yeah,
And
sure.
Walk the Moon in general.
Yeah. No, I get that. But sometimes because I have both cultural
Yeah.
experiences, so sometimes I don't know. Like I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. What
I
would
will-
what give me more examples?
Sure. I will put on the record
As we wait for
that
people in the comments.
all of my Black coworkers were confused when I knew all the
Mhm.
words to Girls in the Hood by Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay.
Oh, yes, that is a
They
good
were like-
song.
Okay.
When I came rolling up into our job being like, fuck being good, I'm a bad bitch. And they're like, what is
Hello.
good morning, Natalie?
No,
It
but
is
we're
9:15.
we're asking for white basic songs.
Well, so I thought I would give you the difference.
Yeah, okay.
I feel
Well,
like
I
if you can do a
understand what
palm-
would be like on the side of like my other people.
Sure.
Like that I don't have
Sure.
a problem with.
I feel like if you can do like a palm or high school dance team to it, it is
Yeah.
considered to be a white person song.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like jump around.
Alexis
White
said
people love
bubbly,
jump around.
which
Jump
is
around.
very white girl.
Shout.
Who
Pe-
sings
white people
Bubbly?
love shout.
Michael Bublé.
Anything Michael Bublé. The
Okay,
white
sure.
people drip.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I don't listen to him, so that's good to know. Shout is definitely yeah,
White
that
people
one
love
for
shout.
sure.
Basically, like anything that allows white people
Oh,
to dance
like,
in their
that
true
song-
form.
That song that what's the song that she's getting on the bus? What is it called?
Journeys don't stop
Sunshine with
Thank
believing.
you.
Natasha
Journey.
Bedingfield.
Journey,
Oh.
Don't Stop Believing.
Don't
Oh.
stop
Yeah.
believing.
I feel like I can't go to a karaoke night without somebody thinking they can sing that song.
18 white people just got horny just because I sang it onto the internet. 18 white people are like, oh, is that Journey?
And one white adjacent person.
And one white adjacent person. Felt
Oh
like
my
they had to
God.
they had to get on it. So
Did you know? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
can we talk about how chill Sophie is about her mother's sexuality? She's just like, her friends come and she's like, what up? I found a detailed book of all of my mother's sexual
Oh, Bubbly by
exploits.
Colby Collette.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I gotta think of how that goes.
I don't know.
Starts
if I know.
in my toes and it
Oh,
crinkles
is
my
that it?
nose.
That's it, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, I know
I
that
sh-
song.
Why haven't I made a living out of doing musical impressions?
I don't know.
Yeah, why haven't
Ken
you?
Jean. I need Ken Jean to invite me onto one of his game shows. Like,
Yeah. Anyone will do. It's
if
fine.
someone could get a hold of Dr. Ken for me. But so she's reading aloud her mother's like sexual exploits, and her friends are like here for it.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
like it's such a stark contrast to we just watched Now and Then, and Sam was like, my mom is wearing go-go boots.
Yeah, that's true. You know what though? I think with she does kind of towards the end get to the point where because she does yell that line at her mom, right? Where it's like, I want my kids to know who their dad is.
Yeah.
Right.
Rude.
Right.
Calm down.
We
You
So
should
she
have dealt with that
doesn't
when you
stay
were
chill,
14, like
but
every
you're
other
right. She
teenage
does
girl.
open very chill.
She does. Well, and like she's really pissed off that Meryl Streep doesn't want her to get married. And I'm like, I don't think you want to get married. I think that this was all a plot
It was a
to
ploy.
make your mom tell you who your dad is.
Yeah.
Do you want a marriage or
Conspiracy.
do you want a wedding?
Do you want a marriage or do you want your daddy?
Yeah. Obvious father.
If you had to choose one of them, who would you want to be your dad?
My dad or my daddy?
We could play it both.
Okay. Well,
Bill Skarsgård, not in Thor, but in Mamma Mia, he looks like he's the one who can fuck the most. So he would be daddy. And sweet baby angel Colin Firth, who has never done anything wrong ever. He can be my dad.
Yeah, because don't they imply that he's gay?
He is gay. And then
he's like, it's so obvious he's gay too. I remember watching it last night and I was like, oh, right. He's gay.
And then the Aphrodite fountain scene happens. And I watched Colin Firth in every group scene because like I had never honed in on him before, but he's my favorite part of the movie. And in the like very sliver of the left-hand side is a shirtless Colin Firth, just like literally Fire Islanding it in the fountain. And I'm like, get it, Colin Firth. Thank you for committing to that. They didn't even put you in frame.
He was
having the time of his life.
Well, that was the whole point, is to have
I feel like I would want Colin to be my dad as well because I like to spend quality time with my dad, and I feel like I could spend good quality time with a dad who is LGBTQ.
And he's the most sincere about like the idea of being a dad and like doing all the dad things.
Yes.
Like, but if I'm gonna marry somebody, it's Pierce Brosnan.
Me too. I agree. That's what I was gonna say. I would want my daddy to be Pierce Brosnan.
Even now, like you've seen him recently, right?
Okay, but like, why do we make? But for why did we make Pierce Brosnan insane? Here's the thing that I never understand about
I do not think he's a good singer. That's on my list.
So like,
and that's probably synthesized too. You know, they edited that shit.
And it happened in Les Mis too. Like they will hire these Oscar Emmy-winning actresses to be like, Amanda Seyfried, blow your vocal cords out every day on the set of Les Mis. We want you to sing it live. And then there's like Sam. And then they're like, Pierce Brosnan, try it. He's like, what happened to our love? It used to be so good. Like, I was like, why didn't they hire me to be Sam?
It almost reminds me of that Step Brothers scene when they're in the car and he's like ripping the wife's ass for like not being good at vocal lessons. I was like, oh, Pierce Brosnan, you are flat. You're not giving what I need it to give. Not
and
good.
Then it gets worse in the sequel to the point where I had erased in my memory that they make him sing like 3 times in the first one.
Pierce Brosnan's in the sequel?
Uh-huh. Huh. Because they do flash forward, like they're in the present and then they do flashbacks.
Got it. I'm gonna have to watch that tonight now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that tonight now because I'm curious. Interesting.
And so like, like I was like, so when you need me, call me. SOS. What?
You're like, no. Also, the like little dialogues that they have to add into the song when they're on that boat, right? She's with all the dads, and she's like, and you're working at a bank, and your name is Harry. I was like, that's the worst line. That's the worst line. You're working at a bank. And your name.
I do love the montage where she does get to do very daughterly things with all 3 of her dads.
Yeah.
But also, what was the movie where some idiot like construed that as his daughter wanting to? Oh, it was on Critical Role. Never mind.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Shameless.
Oh yeah, on Shameless, where it's like your daughter's just like trying to fuck you, and she's like, "No, I'm just trying to spend quality time with you."
You're like, no,
yeah.
When she has like little dates with all of her dads. I don't know. Someone mentioned Take a Chance on Me, and I can't listen to the true like ABBA version of Take a Chance on Me, I have to do the very insecure, if you're all alone, when
It's
the
cute
pretty
though.
birds have flown, honey, I'm still free. And I have to start it that way.
It's
And
so cute.
and Rosie does such like a commitment to like trying to get Bill Skarsgård to love her after
Mhm.
like 3 hours. She's like,
Mhm.
remember, we were on the boat.
Mhm.
He's like, she's like, everyone else is shacking up. I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah,
Very true.
we all need a happy ending.
Yeah.
Interpret
Oh
that how
yeah.
you wish.
And Colin Firth got his happy ending too. I remember in the middle when they're on the boat and they're Bill thinks he's like, "Oh, so you can and he's like, "No, but I think I'm her dad." And it's like this miscommunication thing. That was a moment where I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot he's gay in this movie."
He's
Yeah.
gay in
Totally
this
forgot about
movie.
the boat miscommunication scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then like, oh gosh, I just love the abandon. And you really have to watch Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, because at the end, Colin Firth gets to dance with like the kid that played younger version of him. And like
Oh.
that kid gives it as hard as Colin Firth gives it to that last montage moment in the glittery jumpsuits. And there's something, Colin Firth is like this little bubble of joy where he's like, I'm going to give this the exact dramatic dedication that Natalie gives to a board game night. And he's just like
Oh.
magical and he's just like Fire Islanding it just off of shot. You can't even really tell if it's him, but I was like, I know that torso. That's Colin Firth. He's having a fucking ball in that fountain. And he's like, ah! That's how I would show up to every set. I'd be like, "What are we doing today? Where do you want the water?" Like, just
Just give it all. Just thrash the water.
Oh
Give it
my
all the water.
gosh.
He's a sweet baby angel. He's never done anything wrong. He has never done anything wrong.
I also think it's interesting that all of them were like totally down to walk her down the aisle and she was like, "Yeah, sounds great."
Sounds
Yeah.
great. Donna who? Donna
Yeah.
who? I was like, "Your mother."
Yeah.
That is when I got angry. I was like, "Your mother has raised you
Uh-huh.
single-handedly in a crumbling Grecian hotel."
Yes.
She's a hotelier.
And you
Yes.
invited these 3 morons to your wedding, and you're like, "You're the most important people to me."
See, and that's the other part that was really frustrating because first of all, why are we still buying into this construct that dad has to give away?
True, I had a girlfriend walk herself down the aisle, and then her husband met her halfway, and then they walked the
Oh,
rest of
that's
the way at the
cute.
beginning of the ceremony. Yeah, super
Right.
cute.
Uh-oh.
But yeah,
Is
no
it just
parents
me?
No, you're
were
not
there.
frozen yet. You will freeze in a moment, and then you'll
Yeah. There we
back.
go. There we go.
How did you know that was gonna happen?
It happens every time.
Every time.
Oh, okay. At least she's consistent.
Comcast, man, I'm telling you.
So what were we talking about? Oh,
We're
Donna.
talking about the audacity
Yeah,
of the men
Oh,
yeah,
I-
because
and
like
daughter, Sophie.
yeah, because like you don't know these people and
You
you
don't know
want them
these
to
people.
walk you down the aisle.
and give
Yeah.
you away to another mediocre man.
And
How
also, she didn't even tell her husband they invited them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
You
like just
can't even
me, but
share
I
that
have to
with
tell my
Dominic
husband
Cougar.
everything.
Yeah.
The second someone tells me gossip, I'm like, I will not tell anyone. But that
Well-
doesn't count because my husband is the other half of my brain, so he
That's-
will find out as well.
That is
Yeah.
literally a universal understood that if you tell your friend who's married, assume the spouse knows.
Yeah. It's
My
helped me from
brother-in-law-
saying a lot of things to certain people where I'm like, oh, I don't really want your partner to know, so I'm just not going to tell you at all.
Yeah,
Shout
You're
out
not
to
that
my
smart.
brother-in-law because
Not my
I
fault.
talk to my sister before my brother-in-law gets home from work. And then Zach will like touch the front door and my sister will be like, guess what's wrong with Natalie's body? Like, guess what she found on it today? And I'm like, you don't need to tell him. And she's like, it's really gross and I'm gonna tell you. And I'm like my brother-in-law has like intimate knowledge of my body.
oh my gosh.
Oh, heck no.
I couldn't hang. Like I'm very like you, Paige. I'm very mindful about what I tell my married friends because I'm like, well, the partner's gonna know. I don't listen. I will tell your partner if I want them to know. Okay.
My brother-in-law
that's a
is
good
very
point.
supportive of me and my passions.
Well, that's nice.
But Oh shit, where was I remember the exact moment I decided that my father would not be walking me down the aisle.
The exact moment?
I was at someone else's wedding.
This is before you realize that you don't want to get married.
Right. This
Yeah.
is when I thought I still had a shot. I was like in my mid-20s, like a cool 25. And
Yeah,
I
we're
was
still brainwashed to think that we should get married at 25. Yeah.
and I was in New Jersey and I was at someone else's wedding and I was watching her and her dad like cry walk down the aisle. And I just remember turning to my friend and like whispering to him, "Is it rude if I've just now discovered that I don't want my dad to walk me down the aisle?" And he goes, "No, that tracks for you." He goes,
Yeah.
"What are you going to announce at the like very beginning? Like, I'm doing this because I want to." And then just like march. Like, I was like, probably.
No way.
And me like, "I'm not giving any part of myself away. I'm not going to bend and I'm going to do everything the way I want to do it." I'm like, yeah, those are my vows. I don't know.
Yeah, those aren't really vows though.
Yeah, no.
Just warnings.
Just warnings. That's warnings.
That's okay though. That's okay.
But yeah, but now I don't want to get married because it's terrifying and expensive to get out of.
It's so
Yeah.
expensive to get out of. That's the part that blows my mind.
And I
Can
have
we-
I have a whole podcast of the mistakes that I've made when it comes to men, so I can't put
can't
money.
afford it. Can't afford the risk. Like
Can't
that's the
afford it.
part that I'm just like, I would rather pay because the marriage certificate isn't what's expensive.
No.
It's the wedding. It's the
Right.
party after, right? So some people pay like gobs of money for that.
Gobs.
But the actual divorce itself,
So
no.
expensive. And then
I
you
don't
have
wanna
that
do it.
weird year that you were still married, but you're divorced and you got to figure out like how to do your taxes.
Yes, like all of
Ugh.
it. It's just dumb. Like I can barely figure out how to do my taxes now. So there's that. But like also like, and then if you changed your name
Yeah.
Fuck that. Yeah.
and you have to go through all that, like it's such a misogynistic system on how, and then there's like an order you have to do it in. I've never changed my name. I'm making assumptions based on my friends who have gotten married who've changed their names.
I would
They're like, you
change mine
can't
There's a
go,
maybe.
you can't
paper.
do it here first. You have to do it at this spot first. And you're just like, why? Why do it? Why
I have to
change your
wait in
name?
2
You have to get a
lines.
new
I'm not
social
waiting
security
in
number first, or like a new social security card first,
Yeah,
and
you
then
go to
you
this
have to go
and then
do
everything
everything.
else, which
Yep.
whose social security office is ever open? Ever.
I couldn't tell you where mine is.
Oh, I know where mine is because I used to work for the government, but they're never
You know where your
open.
social security card is?
I know
No,
where
the
my card
office.
is. I don't
The
know where the
office.
office is.
Oh, I thought you meant like you didn't know where your
Listen,
card is. I'm like,
I have, like-
Natalie.
I have like this doom folder and I can't remember
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
but my passport, my birth certificate, and my social security. What did I have to go
Why
do?
are you saying this to everybody on the internet right now?
They don't know what the doom folder looks like, but it's all in one folder.
Okay. All
And
right.
I'm like, and every once in a while, I'm like, where the fuck is that folder?
Where's my doom folder?
Oh my
And people
God.
are like, people get safes for these. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they put
But,
it in
like-
a plastic bag and put it in the fridge or freezer. Because if there's a
Oh.
tornado or a fire, your fridge will never burn, or like it'll stay.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
I have a ton
learning
of friends. Mostly the
just a
friends that
doom
I met that
folder.
are from the South. So
I
they
had
have a ton of
no
tornadoes, lots of fires, hurricanes. It's like sealed in there. It'll
Oh, that
never
makes
burn in a
sense.
fire. And
That
like,
makes sense that your fridge would be like sort of fireproofish.
Can I fit
Yeah.
into my? I'm gonna see if I can fit
You
into
should
my fridge
see.
during
I
a.
could definitely
No,
fit in my
you'll
fridge if I took
suffocate.
all the shelves
There's not
out.
enough air. You'll
Oh
suffocate.
God. We
How
have
crazy.
tornadoes here.
Wait, what?
We have tornadoes here. I live in the Midwest.
Oh yeah, you're.
I moved
There's a
away from
tornado
the tornadoes.
season.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't. No,
No,
you
Tornado
lost me
Alley,
at
man.
season.
at season.
Yeah, my
See.
cousins in the Midwest are like, I could never live in the California. All those earthquakes, girl. I can't tell you the last time I experienced a major earthquake in 1989. We've had this conversation already. You have a tornado season. Like you're guaranteed a tornado is going to happen at some point during the spring.
during
I'm
the
good.
spring.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, just me and my doom folder chilling out. I wish I could remember why all my documents had to be in the exact same place. What
Well,
the
they say to
fuck
do that so that way you
could
can like
I-
grab and go
Mhm.
if
I have a
you're
bag.
an
Like a little
emergency.
bag I'll take.
I was specifically doing something. I wonder if it was like my unemployment.
Mario says that Indiana Jones survived a bomb by hiding in a fridge.
That is
But
true.
how did he not run out of
Harrison
air?
Ford did do that.
Maybe he
you
like poked
crack
a hole and then
with a
shot
straw.
it like a snorkel.
I'm very terrified of losing air. Like
I
That'd be
that's
the
a
worst
real
way to die.
fear.
Suffocating would be the worst way to die.
Mm-hmm.
It's so violent.
It's so violent.
I'm gonna
I
peruse
had to like
my
take a deep breath just to make sure I could. Oh my
Right.
lord.
Right?
I remember as a child, if a tornado was coming, I'd like put all my stuffed animals in the closet and be like, all right, guys.
Oh.
Mom's making me go down to the basement. I gotta go. See you later.
Oh.
But nothing ever hit our house. There was a house or a town like a couple towns away that got like really messed up.
Oh,
But
yikes.
yeah, no, just like North Tornado Alley.
I would be unhinged if I lived somewhere like if
where the elements are trying to kill
You live in a state that's
Mhm.
worse for forest fires, so
yeah,
That
but
is
they
true.
oh shit,
Your
they
state
will
is on
I
fire.
was gonna say I'm in an
And not in
area
a
where
good
it's
way.
not an issue, but they will eventually make it if the climate keeps going in the way that it's going, and they will eventually
Listen,
make it to
everyone's
my city.
in denial about it. It's going. People are like,
California's not in denial. We're trying to enact all kinds of legislation that everyone thinks is bullshit.
yeah, I saw that.
And people hate it. We want full electric cars. Though I did hear a report on NPR, because I'm an NPR junkie, the other day about how like the thing, whatever they need to make the electric cars, like they're mining the bottom of the sea for it. So then of course my sister-in-law, former sister-in-law, is a marine biologist. So immediately I was like, I have to text her to find out like how bad is that for the
it's
marine
bad.
Yeah, like
ocean.
fouling nets on steroids.
Yeah. That sounds like
maybe we don't
fracking.
want to go completely electric by 2024.
Maybe we should stop driving. Maybe we should.
I like that idea better.
I honestly think that we should like, here it is, everybody. I think that we should create more factions within
Walkable
America
neighborhoods.
and walkable neighborhoods and completely European it, and then like actually build that train that'll take me to Julia tomorrow if I want to go see Julia.
Oh
bullet
yes.
train.
Yeah,
Which, by
I
the
want the
quicker
bullet train.
Public transportation options.
And we just do
I
the
agree.
public
That's a good idea.
transportation thing. And then like we just like shame the men who want to masturbate on the public transportation.
Yeah. I
fixed
love
it.
my neighborhood.
That is the most integral part is shame.
Is shaming them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
my
what
God.
Just
Instagram's
booing.
for.
You
Take
know what?
their
If I
picture,
had to
post it on the
take
gram.
if I would get murdered, but if I had to take public transportation and some dude was masturbating on the train, I would just boo. Like just boo like those old man Muppets in the theater.
Yeah.
Just be like, boo.
Yeah.
And just like shame his penis and then ask him for compensation. And be like, $50. What do you have in your wallet?
There was an hourly wage. I don't know if you were aware of
Right,
that, but
I
I
didn't
do
know if
have an
you-
hourly wage.
Yeah,
So
I do have
my
an
shame
hour.
isn't free.
Right.
Here's my
Because what
bill.
if it's your kink? If I can tell you're enjoying it, I'm charging you double.
So just automatically 100.
Just
Just
100.
assume 100 right off the bat.
So yeah, so that I fixed it. I fixed everything, everyone, once again.
Well, I think that's that then.
That's that. So this theater production, like the movie, gets a lot of shit for just being a fluff piece. Like it's just a fluff. That's not what I said. I did not say that public shaming fixes everything. I said I did.
It's in quotes.
Okay. I would like it on the record that that's not what I said. It's my logic and my big girl
Relative
brain.
everything though.
You're gonna hate this.
So the theatrical production, like the movie, just gets shit on all the time because I don't know what it is about people who go to movies and people who visit the theater. They don't want to have fun. When I say in quotes, I'm very logical. I'm a Capricorn.
Oh no. Oh,
I'm
you're
a
a Capricorn?
I'm a Capricorn.
She's a Capricorn.
If you stole my passport, you would know I was born on Christmas.
I'm gonna find that Doom folder and steal your identity.
And you know what? You're gonna be disappointed.
Guess he's not paying for her own student loans. Thanks, Natalie.
Go ahead, steal this identity. It's disappointing.
It's very disappointing. It's really not worth it to steal a millennial's identity.
It truly
We have
is.
more
No.
student debt than anybody.
Also, why steal my identity when Gen Z already stole all of the people on Capitol Hill's identity
Yeah.
for us? They did all that work and put it on TikTok for us.
called
That's
doxing.
true. That was pretty impressive.
That
Not
was
gonna lie.
impressive. They were like,
I
here are
love the
their
younger
socials.
generation.
Here are their credit card numbers. Here are their home addresses.
Here's
I
where
was
they
like-
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, y'all violent. And they're like, we're violent.
They're don't fuck with our rights. That's what I
Right.
heard. I heard don't fuck with our rights. Like when all the doxing happened, I was
Yeah.
like, this is you saying don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with my rights.
So I hate that like our general audiences that get to make decisions don't actually like to have fun. Like I go to Mamma Mia and I'm like, the ocean is so blue.
Yeah.
I want to wear Meryl Streep's overalls. I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have been looking for a pair of Donna-esque overalls my entire adulthood. Like they look
Oh,
comfy.
yeah.
Somehow Meryl Streep looks sexy in them.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I have on
She
my-
is
She
sexy.
is sexy.
Yeah.
And her makeup looks timeless in this
Yeah,
movie
Timeless.
as
she's got
well.
a fresh like island like yeah.
Oh yeah, gorgeous.
know
And
that
her
I
skin
love-
looks great.
I love
Mhm.
little things. So I love like pins and patches. Like God knows what I would do with those overalls, but it would be amazing.
Mhm.
And I too, like Donna, can't just like go onto a balcony and like have it just be like, I'm on a balcony. No, I literally have to be like, Mamma Mia, here I go again. I have to be dramatic on a balcony. And I would just like us to get over this pattern where if it's something fun and it's something that the masses can actually like get into, and
Mhm.
it's not just like Les Mis watching me watch Anne Hathaway starve herself to death for 20 minutes, then why doesn't it count as good?
Well, that's the age-old question, right? Like what constitutes quality art over fluff? Like that's
Why did we decide that some of it was fluff?
because some people who are pretentious come in and are like,
Critics.
"That's
There has to
just
be some type of
not."
scale. Everything has a spectrum to it.
Mhm.
The elite.
The elite.
The elite.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
wanted to money launder better.
Yeah.
To be able.
Who was
They-
it? I was listening to something the other day, and they're
Like,
like, "I'm
about how
convinced
modern
Netflix
art
is a
is-
scam because Gray Man was terrible. They spent $200 million on this movie, and it's awful, and so
It's
that's why
awful.
I think that Netflix is laundering money." I forget
How-
who said that.
Green Man, isn't that the
Gray
one?
Man.
Gray Man.
hmm
I thought you said Green Man, which is actually Green Book in my head. I thought you were talking about how
Don't get me started on the. Don't get me started on
someone
Green Book.
dared to
Oh,
turn my
no.
Viggo Mortensen into a white savior, and I will never let it go.
Well, we have
Never.
issues with that movie for very different reasons, but I'm glad that you have issues with that movie
Of course.
because don't even get me fucking started.
Of
We ain't
course.
got that kind of time.
Viggo
Mm-mm.
Mortensen is also a sweet baby angel who has never done anything wrong. He took all of his Lord of the Rings money, all of it, and he moved himself. He became a forest hag, is what happened. He moved himself into a remote forest, and he only came out of his forest cave to go to poetry slams
Oh,
and
that's
read his
cute.
poetry.
That's cute.
Sweet baby
Aw.
angel who's never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then they turned him into a white savior.
I want to live some version of that life.
Same.
Same. Let's do it.
Let's
Yeah.
do it. Honestly, sometimes these lives are just us like planning our commune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Also
down.
true.
Let's do
Everyone
it.
in the comments, if you would like to apply for the commune, please list your
I
skills.
always say that. I always say
Yeah,
to
we
friends, like,
need-
you know how cheap it'd be if we all just got a bunch of land and then we
Yeah.
could just have all the men build us stuff and then we
Build
could wear
stuff.
dresses like in midsummer and,
Yeah, and
but have a
buns.
garden.
Yeah.
It'd be so
Look how
easy.
cute I'd look in space buns.
Exactly.
Like,
Oh my god.
You're just supporting the point the most.
yeah.
Yeah.
Midsummer slapped. Like, good for her. I
Mm.
too would have done exactly what she did at the end.
I love Midsummer so much. I think I'm gonna rewatch it. When I was going through Mamma Mia, I put the M in. The first thing that came up was Midsummer, and
Midsommar.
I was like, "Oh, I want to watch it again." So good, and I'm so excited for "Don't Worry, Darling" because I know that there's some drama there too. I just love her so much.
I love Florence Pugh.
Me
We
too.
will be saying "Don't Worry, Darling," and we're doing a still comfy on it. I made it fit the theme because I was like, I feel like we were conditioned into believing that the homemaker 50 style was a very comforting
Was the
thing for
ideal.
women to try and emulate.
Right.
Mario, I am gonna watch it because, as we know, I cannot not with Harry Styles.
Harry Styles is the new Elton John. You didn't hear it first because I say it every show.
Oh.
So, like, every time I see the trailer, I'm just like, this is so stressful, but I'm totally gonna maybe take a Valium and
Are
see
you
this
not like a
movie.
scary movie gal?
No, she
I
cannot.
get too stressed out, and then
Watch them during the day.
then I can that I do that sometimes, and then I can somehow in my head I can twist it to make it where this could actually happen in real life.
True.
And it's really irritating for people who are my friends, because then I'm like spiraling sometimes, and
That's how I
it's
felt
super
about
fun.
Handmaid's Tale. I was like, this is too close to
Oh,
home.
they
I read the
made it
book.
that way. They
No, but
made it.
y'all, the book.
The book. I
I
read
haven't
both.
read it.
After reading the book, I was like, well, I can't. And then when they said they were doing the show, my literary friends like, oh my God, they're doing the show. It's gonna be so amazing. It's like, I'm sorry, you all recovered after reading this in lit class sophomore year? I'm still recovering.
I didn't read anything cool like that in my high school. Even if they would have assigned it, I still probably wouldn't have read it. So
Yeah.
It's a real short one.
Yeah, it's very thick. But
Was
still.
it? Oh, last week I convinced myself that a vampire from Critical Role could somehow still get me. I was afraid of Delilah. I wasn't afraid of Delilah Briarwood in campaign 1 when she was a pivotal villain,
Yeah.
but they're doing callbacks to her in the new campaign hundreds of years after this lady has died.
Yeah.
And I remember like telling Jules, I was like, Jules, I don't know what's happened, but I've somehow scared myself out of about a character that I've been hearing about for thousands of hours, and, like, I don't think I can sleep. I don't like, Delilah is coming for me.
what? I've
Yeah,
never
she's a
even seen that
vampire.
show. I'm gonna have to look into it.
Oh, it's a D&D
It's a
stream.
D&D, yeah.
Like, every episode
Oh.
it's on YouTube. Every episode is 4 to 5 hours long. Because it's a D&D session.
Yeah, because they're doing like
Are you
the
dead
whole-
serious?
Because it's watching D&D live. But here's the thing. I was in a very toxic work environment. I was in an office that was killing me, and I needed to take my head out of that. So I
You needed
started
some escapism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I started to watch these nerds playing D&D, and then they all became my teddy bears. Like, so at Gen Con over the weekend, I ran into, I'm not gonna remember all 3 of his names. I know it was Jason Miller.
You
Where's
sent it
the
to me in a message.
Jason Charles Miller. So he was a guest on like maybe 2 episodes in campaign 1, and his little handler lady is trying to like get nerds to like divert from their shopping to talk to him. And like people are just ignoring him, ignoring her. So finally I went, Jason, I know who you are. I've watched Critical Role, and I sat down and talked to him. And I told him, I was like, he goes, so you started Critical Role from the beginning? I go, I did. My soul was dying. I go, and now I need Matthew Mercer's voice to sleep sometimes if it's been a particularly high anxiety day. And Jason, if you're listening, don't forget you told me that you were going to tell Matt that this week when you ran into it.
We will need a status update on that then.
You're working together this week. I would like Matt to know that he is the barrier between me and sleep.
Yeah.
He is the key to the lock.
He is. And so I got to meet Jason, but I got to stare at the back of the heads of 2 of my favorite D&D streamers because I ended up at the same bar as them, and I wouldn't approach the table because there were too many people. So I just stood there like this. And then the waitress caught me, and I was like, never mind. I'll just go.
It's fine.
It's fine.
No need to stare. We're all good here.
And then I talked about the fact that they were in the same. I was like, I can't believe that they're in the same bar. I knew Abria was here because I saw her on Instagram. And I told myself that I was going to get to see her, but I didn't think it would be because I was in the Westin.
Oh my God, you had like a whole experience.
I had a whole meltdown. And luckily, the people that my friend Natalie allowed me to meet and hang out with, they were into it. And I was like, thank you for still being open to being my friend, even though I'm having a meltdown.
Were you like sobbing?
No, I wasn't
Oh.
crying yet. But
Yeah.
like to know that you are just like several feet away from greatness, I can't do it. If I admire you, I feel like it's my job to tell you, because this world is so cruel that
Yeah.
I feel like no one tells you, because they think that you're like too cool to know that people admire you. So then I'm the person who like walks up to you and is like, hi, it's me, Natalie. When you DM Dungeons and Dragons as a woman of color and you remind the nerd boys that D&D can and should be fun, my heart soars, because they're so mean when you want to laugh. They're so mean when you want to giggle about something.
Oh.
And then just like run away into the night.
Yeah.
Dissipate. They'll never see me again.
Dissipate.
I have a question to bring us back to our topic of
Sure.
Which character would you be in Mamma Mia?
Donna. I used to think that I was Tanya, but I don't want to get married 3 times, so now I would like to be Donna without a child. Donna, but I gave the baby away.
Donna, but I gave the baby away.
That
And
is
I
an
just-
alternate universe.
And I still just live on that giant hotel on the cliff that no one can find me.
I think I resonate the most with Sophie, even though I know who my father is. I do have paternal certainty, so I guess that's different. But I did get married at 20, and I am a little off my rocker at times, so I feel like it has to be her.
Okay.
The way that like someone mentioned that Lay All Your Love on Me was their favorite song, and the way that they dramatically, like Amanda Seyfried like walking on that beach with her hair blowing, and she like means it when she's like, don't go wasting. I'm like, damn girl,
Oh yeah,
where's her Oscar?
100%.
And then
And
they have
also-
sex on the beach in front of all of his friends.
Yeah.
I was
They're
like,
okay, cool, man. Yeah, man, looks
Yeah.
cool. I was gonna say I also had written down that Sky, her husband, was or fiance, boyfriend,
fiance.
partner,
Yeah.
Person.
was totally cool with just getting married because she wanted to.
Yeah. Which I
Which-
don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Because like I just feel like married things and like having kid things, and like it's not like picking Chili's to go to dinner. It's not
Yeah.
like just like whatever you want. Like it's like, no,
Yeah,
we're gonna
no.
sign a contract that's like very hard to get out of. And my mother is going to have to run up a cliff. So if we're gonna do it, let's do it.
And I will be on a donkey.
And I
Yeah.
will be on a donkey.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like again, it lends itself to that whole like, oh, this is what girls are supposed to want, and men are just their kind of concept about marriage.
Well,
And I appreciate Harry for being like,
Yeah.
should she really be getting married?
Yeah, he was like, about that.
But I
I'm not
also
sure.
feel like for whatever reason, Donna just like pretended like as Sophie got older, she would just like forget that children have fathers or something. So I understood that like getting married and doing it correctly became Sophie's teddy bear.
Yeah.
She's like, I can do it correctly. Like, I can do the whole thing. And
I do want to point out for people who are listening to the replay and not watching us on video, Natalie put correctly in air quotes.
Yeah, I did. I thought I made my sarcastic voice correctly. Correctly.
Yeah, works too.
So anyways, it became like her teddy bear.
Yeah.
And so like I get it, because I think that Donna, what you find out from like Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, she was probably 20. Around like they had just graduated college. So
Still like
she was-
22.
so like
Still young.
I'm sorry, maybe they graduate from something. There's a whole scene about it. So she's like
I'll
around
have to
that
watch it.
18, 19, she's in that moron age where you like get like pregnant and you don't know who the father is and you just like roll with it.
Also, like DNA tests. No one was like, I
No
would
one.
like a DNA test.
Yeah, they were all like, we don't need to
Somebody
find
walked
out.
me down
Again,
the aisle. It's like, I'd like to get a genome sequenced, please.
Yeah,
No
how do
no
I
one
know that?
wanted to know if they were 100% that bitch.
Yeah.
No
But
one
they were
wanted.
fine being 33% that
Yeah,
bit.
that
Yeah.
33% was okay.
Just
Which I
33
can't,
for me.
again, did we already talk about this? I can't imagine a group of men being okay with the idea of like, sure, we'll all be your dad. Like that
No.
just to me was like, do I not know the right men?
It's very unrealistic. I
No, I
feel
think
like
that they just ended
pride would get in the way. I feel like I just feel like it's not because like remember in the 80s when we all watched like Three Men and a Little Lady or like Three
Three
Men
Men
and
and
a
a
Baby?
Baby.
Little Lady is the
The
sequel.
sequel, yeah, Tom
Um
Selleck.
it's like they split it because they were three idiots who got a baby dumped onto them and
Right.
they didn't know how to adult, so they were like, I guess we're all gonna have to do this. But like in this situation, like at no point did anyone feel tricked, and I'm like, did you guys forget that you were tricked? Like
Yeah,
this
to
is a
even get
trick.
there. You thought
Yeah.
that Donna invited you. Surprise. Donna
Yeah,
did not
why would
invite you.
she?
She
Yeah,
doesn't
because
even
that's how else
know.
they wouldn't probably they probably wouldn't have come otherwise if it
No.
wasn't Donna inviting them.
You know what I would have done? I wouldn't have even mentioned, if I was Sophie, I wouldn't have even mentioned my mom, because how do you know they ended on such good terms? I would have been like, you have won a free vacation to this small Greek island, and like, here's a voucher.
Yeah,
Because what if they're
yeah.
like, Donna, F her, I ain't going.
Because as we learned, Harry came back for her and she was running off with one of the other ones and he was so
Yeah.
disappointed.
Yeah,
Bill.
I think it was Bill. I think she was good. And you know what? Good on her. Because
Mhm.
like I choose to heal after breakups with like a cry in the shower and like a Snickers bar and then I'm over it. But if she wanted to get on a boat with a scars guard, more power to
Yes,
her.
we have
Who
very
gave
well
another
established
great
that
Skarsgård as
none of us
well.
will ever turn down a Skarsgård.
Not a one, even
Not a
Bill.
Who doesn't want to just join a great lineage, honestly?
Honestly.
Great lineage.
Let's
You
just
know what's a
marry right
really
into that family.
100%.
And I don't like, and then like there's just like adorable little Colin Firth, and he's just so precious. They
kinda-
sing for their date, they do the Napoleon, the Waterloo song for them. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. He kind of has like what a girl wants vibes
Yes.
without having the stick up his ass.
I love What a Girl Wants.
Me too, girl.
I love Colin Firth. There is just something like my Critical Role people that is so huggable about Colin. You just like want to walk up and like frame his face with
Mhm.
your hands
Yeah, that's why I want him
Mhm.
to be my dad.
and just
Yeah.
like make him put his forehead on your forehead
Yeah.
while you just stand here awkwardly.
Yeah.
And then like you just like want to whisper to him a secret. Like, hi,
Are we all
Colin.
frozen? Frozen.
No, it's just you.
No, it's just you. You'll come back. There
Hi.
you are.
Hello, friends. Sorry about all of the.
And you just like you want to whisper Colin Firth a secret because you know it would be safe with him and he'd
Yeah.
make it okay.
Have you seen him in A Single Man?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Oh,
Have
Since I
I?
ever have.
with Matthew Good. It's so good.
Oh,
I think it's
I
Matthew
do
Good.
like-
Hold on.
maybe I will watch it then.
I'm pretty sure it's Matthew Good.
Let me add that to my ever-running list of movies
For
that you guys
real.
have introduced me to.
Seriously. Yes, Matthew Good. They play partners and there's a tragedy and it's beautiful. It's Tom Ford. Tom Ford, the fashion designer, I think is the director.
I don't
Oh.
even remember this movie coming
Oh,
out.
Tom
writer.
Ford.
Tom Ford was a writer too? But he directed it. Yeah, he directed it.
Oh,
So
also chat. Who do
distinguished.
you think you'd be in Mamma Mia? I want to know if other people are, what they would
Right.
pick.
Where are all my
I'd be-
Tanyas at?
I'd be Tanya. I think
Yeah.
it'd be a
Julie,
mix
really?
of Tanya and the other friend. What was her name?
Rosie.
Rosie.
I love
Yeah,
Rosie.
I'd be a mix of the two because I'm like a writer, right? Like that's. But I think had I not ended up being a Donna in real life, I would have had multiple marriages, maybe. Or at least multiple partners who, you know, left me wealthy at the end of our relationship.
I think I have been the Rosie in my like group of friends. I've been the lady who has just been like staring at you from a table to be like, I mean, no one else is walking up to you.
That's not exactly a great pickup
Natalie.
line.
I just don't. No one else is coming up to you.
Let's hook up out of desperation.
Oh my God.
I know.
If
That's
somebody
why I
came up
use
to me and said that, I
the
would have been
past
like,
tense.
bye.
That's
Yeah.
why I use the past tense. I love
Yeah.
that song, Take a Chance on Me. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me.
Listen,
If you
I
got
need to
no
know.
place to go. She's great. I love Rosie. And like when Donna's crying in the bathroom and they sing her Chiquita.
Oh yeah, that's so cute. I think of my two friends where I'm like, I wonder if they would ever sing to me, and then I'm like, and do I want them to sing to me though?
Honestly,
No.
I wish my friends would sing to me more. This is my request.
Well, now that I know that, I'll
Live
just send you
here
voice memos every day in the
on the
morning.
internet.
I'll sing. Do you want a song or do you want me to just sing to you what I'm doing?
Any and all of it. I am like one of those undiagnosed ADHD people who's like, I love my lavender roller.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna make me calm. Like it's always like Blue's Clues up in this house.
Well, Blue's Clues did raise us.
Yeah. And like Penelope hates it. My cat
She hates Blue's Clues?
No, she hates singing. She hates
Oh,
music.
listen,
She hates
fully
joy. Typical cat.
I fully believe that
characteristic.
she very much regrets that she walked up to me during that lightning storm because she's like, that bitch was quiet and crying when I walked up to her. And then I got into her house and it's disco fever all day
is
long.
that how you got Penelope?
Mhm.
I didn't know this
Penelope
story.
used what you were just saying you would use on a man.
Yeah,
Would be
she
like,
did.
no
She
one
was
else
like,
is
no one
walking up
else is
to
coming
you.
up to you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was crying in my friend's parking lot because he was moving and we had just had our last scary movie night or whatever before he moved. It was like 2 or 3 a.m. There was a heat lightning storm and I stopped to like look at the lightning and she came and she sat on my foot and she just like looked up at me and I was like, "Oh no, what do you do when a kitten sits on your
Aw,
foot during a
yeah.
lightning storm?" And she followed me around and she like walked over to like a lamp so I could like check her out and she was pretty healthy. She has like a scar on her nose from
Aw.
something that scratched her. And then like my friend was no help. I texted him. I was like, "What do I do with this cat? It's bonded with me." And he's like, "I don't know. It's 3 a.m. Do what you do or go and
The
like
cat
just
has
do what you're gonna
imprinted on
do."
me.
He's like, "I'm going to bed." And then I went home. So then she watched me as I drove off.
Oh, that's the
That's sad.
And
worst.
You abandoned her.
so that was a Thursday night, all Friday. I didn't have any cat stuff at home. I was a single lady, no pets. And I was like, I'm not going to Walmart at 3 a.m. I'm not doing it. And
Not happening.
so I drove off, but then I cried for an entire Friday. So then
Aw.
he went back out on a Saturday, saw her, and nabbed her for me.
Oh, I'm glad he redeemed himself.
Yeah, like, God.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, friends, countrymen, if someone is literally texting you the I don't know what to do in this situation thing, they are legitimately asking you.
For
They're
advice.
right. They are an undiagnosed ADHD person who is now hyper focused on a kitten they found in your parking lot.
Yeah.
And they need you to tell them that it's okay to go home.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I ask for people's advice a lot. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I mean, I like to crowdsource. I love crowdsourcing because then I
Yeah.
use all of that information to form my own decision.
So don't just tell them, like, I don't have time for this. I'm going to bed. Like, that's not great. You are the only person that they know is awake because you are the only person who you literally just left their home.
Yeah.
Right. And I
then-
just helped you move.
Right.
Least you can do is give me some feedback.
Yeah, and by help
Yeah.
you move, I mean that I talk to you while you put things into boxes because I'm not doing that. Like that is the
No.
support that
Not
I
this
want.
princess. Bye.
I'm just cute while you have to do things.
I'm just cute.
But my
I'm here
other
to be
guy
your
friend,
emotional support cuteness.
right? My
Yeah.
other guy friend who also cannot sleep, he told me, he's like, "You're about to take a 9-year-old's cat. Like that cat belongs to someone." And I was like,
I mean, if it's living in a parking lot for the last 2 days, is it really though?
I
Does it really?
believe I said 9-year-olds should be more responsible for their things.
And ladies and
9-year-old?
gentlemen, this is how Natalie has confirmed she should not have children.
This is
He's
how
like
I
a fourth
truly feel.
grader.
Right. This is how I truly feel about children. I'm like, they should be more responsible about their things.
Oh
She
my
was, but she was
gosh.
like, so if anyone has seen my cat on Instagram, she has like a full coat.
Yeah.
Like she is like a literal princess diva of a goddess of a cat. But when I got her, all of her hair was very short and wiry, and she had this cut along her nose. And the only floofy part of her was her tail.
Yeah.
So I thought that she was just gonna be like this abomination of a cat, like just a real short-haired cat with this like feather boa of a tail. But we got some food into her and some water and some like love and affection, and we got her fleas treated, and she just like poofed.
Yeah.
Like I can hold, people think that she's like the fattest cat in the world, but I can just like hold her in the palm of my hand because it's literal fur.
Yeah, because she's very lean. It's all her fur.
Mhm.
Final question. Are you still comfy with Mama Mia?
You know what? I love a good scam.
Yeah.
Like the con worked out. She got 3 rich dads. What more could we ask for?
Serious, fucking
Yeah.
serious. And they all want to help.
And
Like,
they all want to help because they have
hello?
white man guilt. Like,
sign me up.
sign me up.
Right.
Somebody else pay my rent for a year and see what I can do creatively if I don't have to worry about feeding myself and housing myself.
And Paige, you brought up a good point too. No one outwardly shamed Donna.
That's what I was
She
gonna say. That's why I think
assumed
I'm still comfy. Yeah.
Yeah.
she assumed people were shaming her.
Yes. Which is very typical. We do something that we're like, ooh, maybe not the best decision. Then you're like, now everyone associates my identity with like this one period of time or like this
Yeah.
one thing that I did. And I think the fact that like everyone was just like, okay, like even when
my
they were reading
girl.
her diary, they were like dot dot dot.
Yeah.
And her friend were
Honey,
like,
honey.
you stanky bird.
Yeah.
Like, that's not shaming. That's like, get it, girl.
Yeah.
Get it,
Like the
girl.
opposite of shaming, support.
So I think when,
I think I am still comfy just
Yeah.
simply off of the lack of shaming of
Yeah.
her sexual
when-
promiscuity.
And when Sophie had that like really ugly moment, I think she was literally just like projecting back to Donna what
Yeah.
Donna's inner monologue was.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
agree.
society does do a really good job. Like women are not allowed to have multiple partners.
Mm-mm.
Women aren't allowed to, understand their sexuality in any way, shape, or form.
At all.
And here comes Donna, and she's like, I got this shit handled, and I don't need you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll
Like-
caulk this dolphin concrete decoration on my floor.
On my own. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Where were you when it
don't-
cracked? Not here.
Not
Yeah.
here.
And
Yeah.
where were you for 20 years?
Not
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what Pierce Brosnan wasn't doing, and it wasn't learning how to sing. They really don't care if men can sing in these movies.
But do you remember though, Russell Crowe got panned because he couldn't sing. Like that was like a thing. People like nobody cared about the rest of the like everyone just honed in on Russell Crowe not being able to sing.
So I'm talking about the movie creator. So here's the thing. I get it. Russell Crowe, like Gladiator, I still do just like turn to a crowd and be like, are you not entertained? Like I get it. Russell Crowe, you really feel like is a big moneymaker draw.
Yeah.
But you can't cast him as the second fucking protagonist
Yeah.
in Les Mis
Yeah.
to a Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is like King Theater.
No
Right.
one can follow him, honestly.
Honestly.
And
then,
why
like,
not just do what they did 50 years ago, 60 years ago, where they just hire the same vocal actor to sing everyone's parts?
right.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to cast somebody who can't sing,
Then dub
where's
it.
our vocal actor?
Help
So-
them.
Amanda Seyfried let the cat out of the bag that they didn't dub Les Mis at all. They made them sing live on
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
And it like roached her voice.
Yeah.
And now she's like really disappointed because I mean, what it ended up doing was like teaching her a lot about vocal stamina and how
Uh-huh.
you build that back. But she didn't build it back enough in time to like get Glenda in the Wicked
Right.
movie.
Right.
Oh no.
And she's like, I've always wanted to be Glinda.
But I bet that really helped her in her Dropout feature, being Elizabeth Holmes, where she kind of
Oh,
has
yeah.
like that deeper
Yeah,
voice.
I
Like that
know.
probably was like a little helpful to have developed that rasp.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine like knowing how much you have to cut and then reset. And then it's like, what line of the song were we on? And it's like,
Well, and that's the thing about stage versus movie, right? Like
mhm.
stage acting is so different than screen acting. And so when, I learned of that too, I just had this moment of like singing, like not that I don't have respect for fucking screen actors. Like that's not what I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
But stage acting is so much more demanding and so much more intense. So less room for flaws.
Mhm.
So to expect your cast to be able to sing all the way through live every
On a
time, like
movie set.
on a movie set, like that to me is like, are you a sadist? Like, what are
being
you
pelted with
doing?
Do you love
water.
pain?
Yeah, like it's so insane to me.
And
It's
then
so insane to me.
and really that movie went down in flames because of Russell Crowe. And it's like, so here you thought, well, we'll make Russell Crowe do it. It'll be
Yeah.
great. And he's saying like this, a loaf of bread. Like that's how he's saying the entire movie.
And you have
To
other
Hugh
people
Jackman.
yeah, exactly. It's saying then you have like the Hugh Jackman of the world, and then I don't know.
You have
Okay,
Anne
so we're gonna
Hathaway.
have to do a whole separate Les
Right.
Mis episode.
Yeah,
That's what we're
yeah.
finding out right now.
Like you have Anne Hathaway laying in a ditch going, I dreamed a dream of time gone by.
Yeah.
And then like Russell Crowe is like, you there, you prisoner. Like that's how he's saying the entire movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not doing it for me.
Inappropriate.
Yeah. And that's definitely a thing we're gonna get into when we
do
Les
Les Mis.
Les Mis.
because that will be so much fun.
Apparently I have a lot of feelings.
A musical panel.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to watch Les Mis, and it's 3 hours.
It is
of
the whole
Russell
show.
Crowe not being able to let it go.
Well, let's go.
Because eventually
we'll do Midsummer.
We'll do.
Julia.
How about we do? Okay, listen. How about we do Les Mis when it's cold? Because then it's like you can sit down for 3 hours.
Oh, because it was a
Sure.
Christmas release. I remember going on Christmas to see it in the movie theater. My poor brother-in-law had to sit in between me and my sister as we quietly wept and made fun of Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to be
position.
crying but making fun of Russell Crowe?
Yeah. I mean, my best friend and I went and saw it together, and we were both just like, how do we resolve how we feel right now?
My brother-in-law that Christmas break had to see so many movies with my sister and I, and he thought he was safe.
No.
With the remake of Red Dawn, he's like, there's no way that they will quietly weep during this movie.
There's
and then
nothing
something
safe.
happened.
Nothing's
the good-looking one died or something.
Yeah.
And my sister and I were
They're like chewed out in the apartment.
Yeah.
And he's like, why Red Dawn? Why?
Okay, Natalie.
Yes.
First, we're going to let Paige tell everybody where they can find her and her show and what's coming up on her show.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at For Folk's Sake Podcast, and I stream on everywhere you listen to your podcast. So like Spotify, Apple, those are like the two I really only check.
Those are the two are always the most.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like those are the bigger two anyway.
Those are the ones. I think Breaker. I have like a less than 1% of my listeners are on Breaker, or like Stitcher. That's fine though. We have a lot of stuff coming up with like women's health and sexual wellness and like taking care of your womanhood.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. That's like the next couple episodes, and then I got a great catalog already too. So
awesome.
Thank you for supplementing my poor Midwestern sexual education.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, thank you for having me, guys. This was super fun. I love watching you
we're
guys.
super thrilled that you're here. We love when you show up to our shows. It's always a joy to have you around. Natalie, you want to plug some stuff and then I'll plug the rest of it? Sure. And then also tell everybody.
My name is Natalie Katona. I am your host of To All the Men I've Tolerated Before. You can find me on Instagram at Men I've Tolerated Pod. No punctuation. Last week, God damn it. I was doing so well. Like, I really want
Sorry,
to
I
cut all
laughed.
of these together to try and get myself onto ads. I really feel like I could make a career out of it. And
Yeah.
so,
Go ahead, keep talking.
last Thursday, our topic was
Yes.
misogyny crosses cultures.
Yes.
This Thursday, it's women and their relationship to their finances. And we're calling it Money Mental Olympics. And it's with
Ooh.
Trina Ross, who has been on the podcast before. She helped me process all of the feelings that you have when you're unemployed and then you have to go to the hell that is a 9 to 5. And we drop every Thursday. And tomorrow we'll be talking about One Tree Hill and the final 4 episodes on Instagram, on the Men I've Tolerated pod Instagram. I'm not going to put you on the spot to be like, have you watched them yet?
Oh,
It's really hard not to talk about it with you in between our shows because damn.
Yeah.
Friends, you know me. I'm your host of Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous, Julia Washington. You can find us wherever you find your podcasts. We are also on Instagram, Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous. We are, after One Tree Hill is done this week, we will be doing the new A League of Their Own that will be on Amazon Prime.
Congratulations to Abby Jacobson on her engagement.
Yes.
I know that she's tuning in.
Yes, she is. And we're going to cover your new show. So starting next week, League of Their Own, the Prime. You can, let's see, what else do we have to tell everybody? Every other Monday.
Rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John.
Yep, thank you for that. I had a note to bring up Olivia Newton-John so we could do a moment for her. And if there was a favorite song or role that she did.
I used to sing the entire Grease soundtrack to all of my stuffed animals. It's what convinced me that I could in fact sing. And then I found out when I was 17 that was not true. But I would literally line them all up and do the entire show for them. It was the first PG-13 movie my aunt snuck me to get to see.
Yeah. Ladies.
No. Which, by the way, Hopelessly Devoted to You, not in the stage production.
Yeah, I did know that.
Oh.
Yeah, I did know that. It's interesting. A lot of what changes happened from some of the earlier productions, like West Side Story's got a bunch of changes too. Like the Steven Spielberg one, actually is more true, I think, in terms of like order. Because Cool's in the first act, not the second act, and in the one from 1961, Cool's in the second act. But that's not the point. The point is Olivia Newton-John, thank you for bringing joy to our lives and the music we loved from the 70s and 80s that we danced all in Xanadu and everything that you brought to the creative culture that is performance. We will miss you. Friends, get your titties checked because it is very important. John Travolta has now lost 2 women he loves desperately to breast cancer.
Yeah,
my titties are wearing Tolerator merch.
Yes, they are. And I was surprised you didn't plug that. So I'm going to plug both of our merches right now.
I forgot until you brought up titties.
That's okay. Friends, if you are Team Tolerator, hit up the Team Tolerator Shopify. It is in Natalie's link in bio in her Instagram, and get your Team Tolerator gear ASAP because you need to know.
Where's my career in modeling?
We also have merch for Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous. Hit that merch up. Buy some merch. Merch. We will be back in 2 weeks with another topic, TBD.
We don't know what it is yet.
We don't know what it is yet, but we will see you all tomorrow on Instagram for One Tree Hill. Friends, thank you for tuning in. We're always super grateful you're here. Until next time, we will see you in the DMs.
Stay cozy, stay comfy.